Good morning. Good morning. Thank you. Good to see you all again. Thank you for being in Washington. Every day that goes by, we have another example of what this regime in Iran is doing. I mean, whether it's in Iraq, whether it's in Afghanistan, whether it's a Saudi ambassador, whatever. We know who the problem is. And you know, I almost laughed if it wasn't so tragic. This morning's Washington Post story on the on this terrorist arrest said the United States now is scrambling around to figure out what do we do next. What is, you know, we've done sanctions. What do we do next? They're not sure what to do next. Well, we already know what to do next. I mean, there's three things we could do, today. Delist the MEK, number one. Number two, make sure the Ashraf residents know that they are under protection. And number three, adopt the third way that Mrs. Rajavi has been talking about for so many years. I don't know what the State Department is scrambling around with. I mean, they're still working on this thing after, 450 days now. I mean, this is irresponsible. It's counter to law. So I say to the State Department, stop scrambling around. The plan is here. Let's just do it. You could announce it today. You could announce it tomorrow. You should have announced it, a year ago. But clearly, we have to deal with Iran. Clearly, we're not going to invade. We've got to stop coddling these guys with, allowing them in Ashraf, allowing them in Iraq. I mean, we spent, 5,000 American lives, billions, almost trillions of dollars in Iraq. And who's going to take over after we leave? Iran. I mean, what kind of foreign policy is that? So let's do the third way. Let's get out of the way of the internal resistance. The steps are there. You have been talking about them for many years now. It's simple, it's clear-cut, it's direct, and it'll be effective. There's nothing more to say, except some people haven't said it yet, like my friend Congressman Rohrabacher. You're going to be introduced here, but can I just say the person, this has been a bipartisan situation that you have cultivated supporters on both sides of the aisle, as we say, both political parties. That's really important. Congressman Rohrabacher has taken the lead on the Republican side. He has always been there. He's always active, and he's going to say a few words to you now. Congressman Dana Rohrabacher from California.
Please sit down. Bob, that standing ovation was for you, not for me. This is a significant day for a number of reasons. We also take note that it has been 450 days. It's been 450 days since our government was given the mandate to explain why they have designated the MEK as a terrorist organization, and our government has not responded. What's the holdup? I mean, what is the hold? What's holding things up is the fact that our government is treating a gangster regime in Iran with kid gloves, and that they are, and here we are afraid to actually conduct ourselves honestly and openly here for fear of some way insulting or enraging the mullah regime in Iran. What can be more ridiculous than that? If we try to go out of our way to be concerned about the about the feelings of another country, it should be a democratic country and a group of people who are struggling for freedom, not a bunch of gangsters who repress their own people. The fact is that we should be more concerned about the safety and well-being of the MEK that would want democracy for Iran than we are concerned about the feelings of the mullahs who repress the people of Iran. This is absurd. I would call on our government to step up to the plate, start reflecting American values instead of exhibiting cowardice in the face of tyranny, and make sure that people recognize that the honest designation of what the MEK is. And it's time for us to make sure that we are on the side of the people who are struggling for freedom without any hesitation on the part of the people of Iran. They should know, yes, Americans are on our side, by making sure that by keeping the MEK designated as a terrorist organization, all we are doing is sending the wrong message there that people who are willing to fight against tyranny are in some way terrorists. Well, that doesn't fit. And so I'm calling on our government today to get with it, obey the law. Let's have a redesignation. We got to keep the pressure on. That's number one. But number two, what happened yesterday? What happened yesterday? We found out that representatives of the mullah regime in Iran were trying to hire members of the drug cartel in Mexico to murder a foreign diplomat by blowing him up here in Washington, D.C. That is a conspiracy to commit a murder, a political murder in the United States. When we don't stand up and when we are not strong before gangsters like the mullahs that are running Iran, this is what we can expect. This isn't some aberration. This isn't something that, oh, how could we have ever suspected that the Iranian mullahs would ever do a thing like this? No way. This is exactly what you expect of tyrants and gangsters when you kowtow to them and you make them, and you are so concerned about their feelings. No. There's going to be more of this if we don't stand strong, and the first way to show that we stand strong is to back those people in the MEK who are right on the border of Iran and who are standing tall, telling the Iranian people there is an alternative to this brutal regime that's stamping out your freedom. So with that said, I know you will agree with me that we need to continue to keep the pressure on the people who are making decisions in the United States government to be courageous and represent our values. That's their job. Our job is to put the pressure on them, and then it's the job of the United States of America, of all of us, to side with those who are struggling for democracy and freedom wherever they are in the world. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Sit down. Sit down. Thank you. Thank you very much. It's always good to be among friends. I think the State Department has it wrong. First of all, there should be a designation of a foreign terrorist organization. But it should not be the MEK. It should be the rogue government of Ahmadinejad in the nation of Iran. That should be designated as a foreign terrorist organization.